Joining me now is Yuval Weber. He is a research assistant professor at Texas and A&M University and serves as the Bren Chair of Russian Military and Political Strategy at Marine Corps University. Yuval, good to see you. So where do the two sides go from here?
Well, in what your reporter just said in describing the readout is obviously President Putin wanted to discuss probably Ukraine and Ukraine only. But in the last couple sentences of the readout from the U.S. side, it also said that they discussed strategic stability, which is a euphemism for discussion about nuclear arms, as well as ransomware and Iran. So what it suggested is that what Putin has been saying for the last couple years, if not months and weeks, is that he wants to talk to the United States directly about how to resolve Ukraine and the projection of U.S. and NATO power in Europe. But what it seems from the readout is that the American side also said, if you want to talk about Ukraine, NATO, and these issues, we're also going to expect some give from you on the issues that are important to us, which is nuclear non-proliferation, cyber ransomware, solar winds, all that sort of stuff from a couple months ago, as well as what to do about the Iranian nuclear issue. So in terms of where it can go from here, it suggested that both sides wanted to talk about all the issues, not just the particular ones that President Putin was interested in.
So was this basically the best case scenario?
So sure. I mean, anytime you don't have a war breaking out, it's a cause for celebration. So what we've seen over the past number of months is, shortly thereafter when President Biden was elected and inaugurated into office, we had a military buildup back then, which led to the summit between the two leaders in Geneva in April, I believe. So we have another buildup right now that leads to this. So what President Putin is clearly doing is having these military buildups in order to keep Russia and its interest on the U.S. agenda, because otherwise he fears, probably correctly, that the U.S. would focus more on COVID, economic recovery, China, things of that nature. And so Putin has to keep upping the ante in order for the U.S. to take Russia's interests seriously.
Is that the best strategy for Russia, Yuval?
What are Putin's real alternatives? If he doesn't do this, he's likely to get ignored. And if he gets ignored, then what is he going to do in terms of delivering to, his constituencies, the Russian people, his security services, the military, that he's going to be the one to get the United States to take Russia seriously as a great power. So to do those things, and in order to justify, the continued power, and he's going to be running, for another term in 2024, so he needs to have something to show to the voters in 2024 that can say something to the effect of, look, I was the one who solved NATO's eastward expansion. I kept Ukraine from doing XYZ that was threatening to us. I kept the U.S. from doing whatever in terms of putting its, defense systems or military cooperation with the Ukrainians. And if he doesn't get those things, then it becomes harder to articulate. Why have another 6 years, 12 years, indefinite span of time for Putin to be in charge of Russia?
And what about U.S. options? And are NATO allies and the United States on the same page when it comes to the issue of Ukraine?
Increasingly so. So over the past number of months, there's been a lot of, let's say, variation in what European allies have thought about the U.S. sort of support for Ukraine. The Baltic countries, Poland, those are the ones who want more. The other European countries, particularly Germany, France, want less U.S. support. And so what we've seen over the past week is that whatever intelligence that the American side has shown to its European partners, they're all sort of speaking more or less from the same choir sheet now. So that suggests that they're all getting very serious. And where it can go from here, the issues that basically the U.S. and European partners have raised in the past couple of days is that Nord Stream 2, the big new gas pipeline that goes directly from Russia to Germany, that could just be stopped. Like, it physically exists, but just there won't be any gas that goes through. That could be a devastating economic blow. And in addition to that, the U.S. side has clearly intimated that they might cut off Russia from SWIFT. And that's the Society for Worldwide Interbank Transfers, I believe. But that's how banks talk to each other. And so when I say banks talk to each other, just imagine your credit card, your debit card doesn't work at the store or the restaurant. But you also can't use an ATM to get cash.
Wow.
So that would cause tremendous financial panic among the citizens of Russia. And that is something that was used against Iran a number of years ago in its run-up to, the JCPOA and those issues. But of course, that would be, as they say in sort of the financial world, that's the nuclear option.
Yeah.
Because that means you can't interact. The Russian banks can't interact with foreign ones, and it means that you can't use Visa, MasterCard inside Russia. Russia, over the last number of years, has created its own system, but that hasn't had as much buy-in, even from Russian retailers and most banks. So it would be pretty devastating.
Well, hopefully it will not get to that point. The fact that two leaders had that video call today is certainly a step in the right direction. Yuval Weber, thank you very much.